All right, I think we are officially live. Yep. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you all what we're going to do in order to download the proper drivers. So we have the 8550, which is the 13-inch printer, the EcoTank 8550, and then the 8500, which is the $100 cheaper 8.5-inch version. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all the print settings from the 8550 because that's what the majority of us are downloading, but the settings will be exactly the same for the 8500. Okay, so I'm going to type in Epson ET-8550. You want to make sure you type in the right one. So the 8550 is the one for the 13-inch printer, and we're going to type in the word driver. All right. And then what you want to make sure of is you absolutely want to make sure that you're downloading the driver from the Epson website. So here is the ET-8550. That's the Epson website. And here we can go ahead and go into the drivers and utilities. So if you don't see that, if this doesn't automatically pop up with the recommended for you, your operating system, it should be detected here. So if you don't see detected, then you can manually select here. Sometimes it won't say detected because you might have some type of firewall or something that's blocking it from being able to be automatically detected, which is fine. You just have to make sure that you're manually selecting the right one, or which you would go into your Windows program in order to see which version of Windows you had and what also the whether it's a 32 or 64-bit version. All right, so I'm just going to go down here to the drivers. You see this drivers and utilities combo package installer. That will also be available here under drivers. This is the generic one that you want to go ahead and download. It'll have everything that you need. You won't miss anything here. And let's go ahead and hit download. And as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to grab my phone real quick because I want to make sure that I can see your comments. And I forgot that I don't have second screen right now, which is very odd for me not to have my second screen. Let's go ahead, save that. That way I can see your comments. All right, awesome. So yep, I can see the comments here. And I'll keep that open just so I don't ignore y'all. All right, awesome. So yep, I can see the comments here. And I'll keep that open just so I don't ignore y'all. All right, awesome. So yep, I can see the comments here. Let me turn this volume down. There we go. I know, I feel so out of place without the extra screen. I don't know what to do with my life when I don't have two screens. I told y'all once y'all get used to two screens, you'll lose your mind designing on one screen or doing anything for that matter on one screen. All right, so it looks like the program is downloaded here. I'm just going to right click and go to show in folder so it can show me where it downloaded. And right here, I can right click and go to, you can open this. Some of you may need to do run as administrator depending on, you know, what type of login credentials you're in right now. So the safe one is always to run as administrator and then hit yes. Let's go ahead and say okay here. and it's going to go ahead and install the driver. You also want to make sure that you have a USB cable. I know that you may want to set your printers up with the wireless connectivity. I would only use that as a backup. I will always suggest that you use a USB cable, especially when you're printing out large graphic files. Just get your USB cable that's long enough to go from your computer to your printer, okay? Let's go ahead and accept this license agreement. If you don't, you can't do anything about it. So you might as well just accept what it gives you. I'm going to go ahead and take off these additional agreements because I don't have to agree to those in order to use the firmware. So let's go ahead and go next. It's asking you a couple of questions here. It says you see the printed instructions for the details on setting up the printer, which we didn't, but we followed directions. Make sure the printer is turned on. All right, it says, have you finished filling the ink tanks? So the printer is on and we finished filling the ink tanks. We're going to check off this box here and hit next. Now it's downloading the required software. Now it is installing the printer driver. And don't worry, Teresa, I'm going to set up the PC version first, and then we're going to come over to you through Zoom, and we'll go ahead and set up the Mac version settings so that we'll just have that just in case it is a little bit different. And I believe it is a very slightly different, but Macs do have a way that you change the settings just slightly different from the PCs. So we'll make sure we cover that. All right, now it's asking us how we're going to connect. You can connect Wi-Fi. My strongest suggestion is to connect via USB cable. The reason why is because you're sending large data files over a wireless connection, depending on how strong your wireless connection is, depending on how far away your computer is, from your wireless connection. So you have a lot of variables there. And if you're printing large files, which typically Photoshop files and the level and the style of templates that we use are rather large files. So if you can use a USB cable, it will help you greatly to send that data in an efficient manner rather than go through the Wi-Fi. So sometimes if you ever wonder why it takes so long for your printer to receive the data to start printing, it's probably because you're using a Wi-Fi connection or the Air connection. If you're using the Apple products, don't use that. We did find out, Teresa was the one that found out, don't install the Air situation, don't use it. It slows down your printing tremendously because it is truly trying to communicate through a way that it is not designed to communicate these large files. So please be aware of that. All right. Okay, so let me go ahead and hit the USB cable here. And I have one that's already hooked up via USB. So I'm going to take you through the steps and make sure that it lets us go through them. Let's hit next. And I'm going to hit do not connect now. Well, you know what? I'll connect it now just so that you can see it. So hold on just a moment, because when the USB cable is there, it will automatically detect it. So I want to show you that. Let me grab my USB, and I guess that also means I have to plug that one in because it's not plugged in right now. So it's right behind me, the 8550 is this big one here. And let me go ahead and plug that one in. And like I said, I have pretty long USB cables because I know for a fact I've done this for years and years and years that I have not found a wireless connection yet that beats my USB connection. And I mean, you may even want to do an Ethernet connection if you have your printers networked, and then do a hardline Ethernet connection to your printers. That works as well. Let me go ahead and plug this power up, and hopefully we can make it around here without knocking anything down. Let's plug her in, and let's make sure. We'll go ahead and turn the power on. Well, let's make sure it's plugged in first. We have our USB in there, power in here. All right. So I had to hold down that power button for a couple seconds. See how we're looking. I get the long USB cables from Amazon, and I usually keep a few of them on hand. Yeah, and Teresa says AirPrint is a no-go. It slows it down a lot, and I experienced that with her last night. So I've never tried the AirPrint before, but it absolutely does slow the printing process down. So I'm going to say no to any of this stuff. I'm going to take all of this off. I don't want this extra stuff. Let's hit next. It'll ask you if you want to print a test page. It's not necessary to print a test page. This just lets you know that your computer is talking to your printer and it communicates well, and it will print a test page. So we're just going to go ahead and hit next there. Allow it to check the firmware, and for this particular setup, we're going to go ahead and let it update the firmware once, and then I usually turn that stuff off afterwards. And then I only update the firmware if I absolutely have to. All right, so it says do not turn off your computer or printer or disconnect the printer from the computer until the firmware update is complete. Otherwise, the printer may malfunction. So let's do that, and then let's not touch anything. And I hear the printer moving around back there. It says it's waiting for the printer to restart. And while that's working, I'm going to send over a file or a set of files. Let's go ahead and pull those up. And it looks like we're about 73% done, so it shouldn't take us long at all to finish this up. Let's go ahead and make a new folder. New folder. I'm just gonna go ahead and get these. These are files that the recent Academy attendees created their own artwork, so I'm going to send this to them. Let's see what we're looking like here. We're good. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we actually took this drawing and we used Illustrator to make this logo. So that was fun. I need to send that to our attendee there. So it looks like, are we done? Nope, still going. All right, looks like we are finished. So I'm going to check on everything. First and foremost, I'm going to make sure that we go to our printers and scanners. And I like to change my default settings for the printer. The reason why I do that is because it absolutely will give you the ability to have the same settings every time by default through Photoshop or any other print program. So if you do it straight from here, you don't have to worry about, you can check it just to make certain, but you do not have to worry about doing this every single time that you print. So for this one, I need to see which one of these is online because I have several of them. So let's go ahead and check real quick. We're going to go to Manage, and we're going to go to the printer preferences for the Macs. I'm sorry, for the PCs. So for the Macs, you will most likely do it a different way, and Teresa will show you how to do that. But for the PCs, this is how we want to go. And you can actually, once you set this, let's say you have several 8550s, once you set this up once, you can make these the default settings for the other printers as well. So let's go ahead and manage one of them. Let's go to the printing preferences. All right, and like I said, once you set it up once, anytime you install another one of those printers, you can use a printer settings preset that you saved. So we're going to make a new preset. This one will be for the 8550. We're going to tell it that it's going to use the rear slot here. So let's go, as a matter of fact, if we tell it the document size is 13 by 19, which is what I set mine up as automatically, then we're going to use the rear paper feeder and the 13 by 19 paper size, of course. We'll come here and use the plain paper type. And for the quality, I typically, if I go to this one here, I'll tell you what you can do. You don't need best. And the reason why I tell you don't need best, number one, it takes a very long time to print. Number two, it's not necessary for sublimation. And for the time that it takes for it to print, you're basically not gaining that much level of quality to justify waiting that long for a print. So if my memory serves me correctly, which a lot of times it doesn't, the longest print time was around 2 minutes and 49 seconds. The standard was around and I'm talking about for 13 by 19 now. So the standard was around about 48 seconds. And then the high was around, oh no, I'm lying. The standard was 1 minute and 48 seconds. The high was 2 minutes and about 40 something seconds. And then the best was 6 minutes and something. That's what it was. So you definitely don't want to have it on best if you don't need it. You can start with standard, and if you see absolutely no lines whatsoever, then standard will give you still give you a high quality result. If you feel like you need a little bit better, because you want it to take its time and put down the ink in a way in which you won't receive any of those horizontal lines or banding, then you may need to choose high. But best is kind of overkill. So just choose high if you need to. Choose standard as your baseline, and then if standard doesn't work for you, then go up, because you'll be saving at least 1 minute per print if you go with the standard option. All right, so next I'm going to go over here to more options, and we're going to make sure that we turn mirror image on. It's probably not on, so we want to turn mirror image on. And then we want to come up here to the color correction and choose advanced. And we want to choose no color adjustment. We want Photoshop to adjust our colors. We do not want the printing program to try to guess what colors to do, okay? So let's do no color adjustment here. And in order to save this preset, I'm going to go to add and remove presets, and I'm going to name this 13x19 true innate sub, because I know that's it. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And once you save it and you click on it, so we'll close out of here. Once we click on this, this is automatically going to be the default settings for this printer every single time we print, no matter what program we print from. So I'll show you this right now when I hit OK for this. If I go into Photoshop and print, the default settings now will be exactly what I just showed you. Okay, so now we can go into the other versions of this, and same thing here. We can go to Manage, Print Preferences, and see how the 13x19 here, the True Innate Sublimation is already selected. We'll go back and let's choose the last one. Let's manage that. Printing Preferences. You see how that one was not selected as a default. So now that this 13x19 True Innate Sublimation is selected, it will automatically have these as the default settings any program that I print from. And that's the way that you set it and forget it. So you set it one time, you don't have to keep checking this every single time. Now by habit, every time I'm in Photoshop and I print a print, especially if it's the first time I'm printing that file, I do check the print preferences within Photoshop just to make sure that that's going to be right. Now the second part is to make sure that you have the Icc Profile before you print from Photoshop or any software, okay? So the Icc Profile, you're going to find that on the Innate Lab website from where you purchase the ink, of course. And I'll go here and I'm going to go to the Sublimation ink and blanks category here. I'm going to show you that it's really easy to find it. You can go to the gray ink itself, or you can go to the 8550 kit link. Either one of those, it has the appropriate Icc Profile link, and they're one and the same. So it's going to be the same for the 8550 and the 8500. So I just want you to see right here, True Colors, Innate Lab, EcoTank, Sublimation, Icc Profile. Click to download the link. That's where it is. So you click that, go ahead and download. And once you download it, see, it's an ICM. So basically on a PC, all you need to do is double click it, and it's installed. It's done. If I go to my Photoshop program right now, now I'm going to show you the Photoshop printing settings. So we'll go to Photoshop. As a matter of fact, let's just open one of those. And let's pretend like we're going to print it. Sharon asks, is there a way to change the name of the printer if you have two of the same printer? Yes. And it will even give you a warning that if you change it and they're networked printers, that it may be confusing. But absolutely, I can show you that right now while this is loading up. And Photoshop is loading up while I have the screen share on, so y'all forgive if there's any type of delay or lag. So I'm going to go to the printers and scanners here. And we can actually go to open the queue. Let's see. Properties. There we go. So we can name it from here. So I'll do that again. There's another one. Usually it's a different way that you can get to the printers and set the printers and scanner settings, and it will actually have the ability. As a matter of fact, we go to manage. You can go to print properties instead of print preferences, and I believe the properties is where you want to go to change the name. Now you can put like one in room 1, room 2. You can keep the title the same and just put what room it's in so it's less confusing. Or if you just number your printers, you can put the number in there, and it should update on the screen where you saw the printer options are. So that's a great question. Now I'm going to go to File, Print, and the printer that I'm going to choose is the 8550. I think it's going to be this copy here. I'm going to go to my print settings right now because I'm going to show you that, see, by default, it chooses the settings for the document size, the paper source, the paper type, of course, color. We didn't even talk about that, but of course it's color. And then the quality is standard right now. And mirror image is on. We go to advanced. Color correction and no color adjustment is on. So everything that we need it to be, it is. I by habit tend to check this, and then also by habit I'll even click that sometime just to make sure that it does indeed select my printing preset, and I'll have to hit OK. Now if you are printing portrait, you're probably going to be fine, but if you ever need to print landscape, you just hit this button right here and it will put the landscape option up for you. All right, now next we want to make sure that in Photoshop we choose that Photoshop manages the colors. Photoshop is going to do a greater job at managing the color than the printer can do. So the second thing that we want to do for this color management here is we want to make sure that we choose the printer profile. So I want you to look for the one we just downloaded, and it'll be called the True Colors Innate Lab EcoTank 8550 and 8500. There we go. You can make sure that the normal printing is on. That's the default setting. Relative colorimetric is the rendering intent. That's usually by default. Now, sometimes you will not see this black point compensation on. I do keep it on. That's it. I could literally hit print on this right now, and I'm pretty sure if it tells you that the printable area might get clipped a little bit, that's because when Photoshop is warning you that your printer is not printing borderless, and it may very well take off some of these edges. That's exactly why I tell you all not to print or not to pull your image exactly to the edge, because it will put a hard line on it. But I'm okay. I know I have plenty of white space around here, and that margin is not going to hurt me. Okay. And it's going to be looking to print here, and if it'll probably tell me that paper is missing, and I'll let it go and leave it alone because I don't want to print this. I just want you to see the process for printing. All right, so that was simple as that. I think we're going to go ahead. Yeah, since the paper's out now, you can go to your print queue and you should be able to cancel this one. Let me hit OK. All right, so actually it's not even showing this one, so it might even be the wrong printer that I sent it to. All right, so let's go ahead and get set up to do the same settings on the Mac. And what I encourage you all to do for this is to print this file. It is a free file. It's 135. Let me go to the Academy. 135 does a good little lesson on using the True Colors ink, or any ink for that matter. And what we're going to do is go ahead and pull that up just so I can show you. And I'll show you how, if you're not getting a color that you really want, how to change the intensity of that color or even the hue of that color just a little bit to get it closer to what you want. So we did a whole class on this. The class is free. So make sure you go to class number 135 on the Innate Academy and you'll be able to download this template. And this is what I use to test my colors. I really want to see, yes, these are, standard colors here. These are your CMYK for the RGB mode or this is the CMYK for RGB mode and this is CMYK for the CMYK mode. And you'll notice it's a huge difference. There are going to be colors right here that you will not be able to achieve with your standard non monitor. So your RGB, you're definitely going to be able to get brighter colors because it's using light. Light emits colors that you will never be able to achieve with pigments. So if you can see how bright this green is and how bright that cyan is, you'll never be able to actually get that true color from a print. So there are going to be limitations, and this class, this 135 class, tells you all about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and I think we're going to turn over to Teresa. Let me know in the comments, Teresa, if you're ready for me, and we'll go ahead and go to that Zoom link. All right. And let me know, y'all, if the sound sounds weird or anything of that nature while we're doing this part for the Mac, then let me know. And I don't know if I'll have to shut off the mic for the other program. All right. Hey, Teresa, if you go ahead and log into your Zoom, love, then that way they can see the Mac settings. It's okay. Go ahead. I sent you an email link to Zoom. So as soon as you pull into that Zoom session, then we'll be able to let you share your screen. And just so you know, this is how we do our Innate Academy courses also. We're able to not only just see each other's screens, but I'm able to actually show you what to do on your screen, so I can draw on your screen, or I can even take over the mouse if need be. All right, there we go. Okay, there it goes. All right, And Teresa, we probably won't even need the sound. I think I'm going to keep the sound on this end and just go ahead and click on what we need to click on to set the settings so we can get y'all in the bed at a good hour tonight, because I see we definitely spend a little good amount of time tonight. Okay, so I need you to go ahead and let's do this. I'm going to ask to have remote control there. All right. All right, and let's see, it should allow me to do that. Now let's go ahead and let's go to your printer. So I want to go ahead and set up the printer default first, okay? And then after this, if you could show us, you know, the differences that you received in the pressing of the 3 different print quality types, I think that will be helpful to everybody as well. So let's go ahead and let me close out of this and I think, what do you do on the Mac? You do the yellow. There it goes. All right. So show me how you get to your print settings. I think you showed me this before. And go ahead and you can use the mouse right now. Show me how you get to your print settings. Okay, so the Apple icon. Okay. All right. So I'll take it from here. So what we did was we went to the Apple icon. We went to System Preferences. And then once you're in System Preferences, then you'll be able to select Printers and Scanners. Okay. Now what we're going to do is look for the appropriate printer. Right here we have the 8550. And let's go ahead and change the settings here. All right. So this should be my printing queue. Let's check on the options here. Now, I'm not certain with the Macs. Usually I'm learning as you all allow me to learn on your Macs. So let's go ahead and change those settings. Okay, there it goes. Now these are the general settings. I think you're pretty much going to want to change these settings within Photoshop, because I don't see all of the options that you have in Photoshop. Yeah, so let's do it from Photoshop and let's show the settings there. All right, so let's go to Photoshop and hopefully we have our True Colors 135 there. Right. Perfect. So let's go ahead and pull up the print settings by going to File, Print. And we're going to go to the print settings here, just like we did with the PC. And of course it looks a little bit different here, so I'm going to walk you through what the equivalent to what we just did with the PC. So you're going to go to your paper size here, and we're going to choose Super B, not borderless, but just the regular Super B. And you can actually choose the Super B with the, well, I don't choose the rear paper feed slot because I think the slot is different than the back tray. So just choose the Super B and it will know where it's coming from. Then you want to make sure that you come here to where it says layout, click that option. And you can go through these different ones, but let's go through the color matching. You're not going to have to worry about this because you're telling Photoshop that you want to manage colors. You see how it says Photoshop manages colors? So usually on the Mac, it will automatically take this color matching option off if you tell it that Photoshop is going to manage the colors instead of the printer. Okay, so usually on the Macs, y'all don't have to worry about that messing up. Let's go ahead and, oops, not on the paper size. Let's go to, we'll go to the paper handling. I'll go through all of these because I'm not sure if these are the same for all printers. I think the max that y'all do have different setups for the different sublimation printers, but this is pretty much universal. We don't have anything to change here for the paper handling. I believe the only thing that you really need to change is the print settings here. We want to make sure that the media type is on plain paper, and the print quality is, you can put it on normal just like we did with the other. If normal gives you good results, then you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to do anything further. If you really notice that, like, maybe you have some slight banding or something is going on with your printer where when it prints on the faster mode it's not necessarily good quality, then try fine. But I highly doubt that you need best quality. Normally for the 7710s and 20s, I tell y'all to choose best quality with plain paper, but because this is a photo printer, best quality will take you almost 6 minutes to print a 13 by 19, and that's a little overkill. So I want you all to choose fine here if necessary, and choose normal first to make sure that if that can give you a good result, it will save you about a minute of print time. All right, so let's go here. We'll keep this on fine because I think that was the best option for Teresa. But I think Teresa, you like normal because you said it printed really fast and you were happy with that. So we'll put it on normal, and if ever normal is not good enough, then change it to fine and you'll be just fine. Here is also where we have the option to change it to mirror image. So make sure that you select mirror image. Okay, this is going to be really important for sublimation. There are very few times where you don't need something mirror imaged in sublimation. So by default, we want to keep that on. All right, so right now we can go ahead and save this setting here. We can save the current setting as a preset for the max. And then we're going to save this as, I'll put true N8 sub. And then that way, well, I thought I was putting N8. There we go. I was typing too fast. And then you can put, if this is available for only this printer or all printers, if you have several of the same printers, then you can make this preset available. I also want to make sure that this is the proper paper size, because you might have a setting for 13 by 19, and then you may have the same setting, but just change the paper size for 11 by 17, 8.5 by 11, 8.5 by 14, and it helps you to have a preset for each of those paper sizes, okay? So let's go ahead and hit OK here. There we go. And we will save that. And now when I go back to my print settings, let's say I was going through the motions again, if I go to my print settings, I should have that preset saved right here. All right, so I think that's going to be everything that you need to do from the print side setup, but now you need to make sure that on the Macs, the same as the PCs, that you allow Photoshop to manage the colors. And as far as the print profile, let me show you how to install the print profile for the Macs. It's a little bit different, and I found this out yesterday. So y'all, I'm learning Macs through you all, so y'all definitely bear with me, but it is a good thing that you all have Macs, because sometimes those setups are quite different. So let's go ahead and hit done here, because what I want to do is I want to install the printer profile. All right, so we're going to just close out of, and I'm not closing out, I'm just minimizing the Photoshop window right now. All right, and again, wherever the Icc profile is, you can download it. It's more than likely going to be in your downloads folder. So I believe this one was already downloaded. And let's go to our downloads folder here. Uh-oh. Teresa, let me know if I'm going too far, because I think it was right up there to the top. don't. Okay, okay, so it moved it. So let's just go ahead and do that again. Okay, let's go ahead and just go to the website and download it. Oh, you got to turn the mic off, love. Okay, thank you. I think you have to turn your speaker off too. Hold on. Okay, now it's gone. All right, so let's go to what Safari is the browser for the Macs. Let's go ahead and go to, it's going real slow. Hold on. I'm trying to catch it there. There we go. Do you have another window? There it goes. Let's go ahead and go to innatelab.com. I'm typing too fast. Hold on. innatelab.com. And let's hit enter, go to the website. And we're going to go to, again, to the sub ink and blanks here. And let's make sure everything downloads the same way on a Mac. All right, again, we can go to the gray ink or we can go to the ink kit for the 8550 in order to find the link. So this time I'm going to click on the gray. And you'll see here, there's the link. All right, so now let's go ahead and hit download here. And it looks like it probably went to your downloads folder. There it goes. I'm just going to right click and I'm going to go to show in Finder. Now what you want to do, you want to keep this window open and then you want to do a new, so let's do a new Finder window because you also have to go to your hard drive. So this is a little bit different how you install this for the Mac users, and hopefully I remember all the steps. Let's see. And is it this one? Yep. Okay, so here, let's go to the, let me see if it's library. Go to color sync, go to profiles, and your girl is good because I remember that from yesterday and I don't use Macs. Okay, so now we're going to drag and drop from this folder, from the downloads folder. You're going to drag and drop it onto your profiles folder. And once you drag and drop that, it should ask you for your permission to, you know, you may have to sign your password on or something like that because you are installing an Icc profile onto your system. But once you've done that, you should be able to go straight into Photoshop. And now when we go to print, you can go to File, Print, and let's go to the printer profile now. And instead of the Epson Inkjet 07, which is what we use for pretty much any other desktop printer, we're going to go to the True Colors. And that's how you install and use your Icc profile. So that simple, it's one and done, okay? All right, so that's as simple as that goes. Teresa, I'm gonna let you, I think I may have to mute myself when you come on, but if you want to turn your camera on and show us what it looks like when you did the 3 different print quality modes, I think that's going to be really great for everyone right now. So are you able to do that? Will it let you show your camera? Okay, so I think you're gonna have to shut down Teresa. Um, it's a delay. No, no, no. You're gonna have to shut down the YouTube because I think you're watching YouTube on the computer. Let's see if there's any feedback. Um, yes, I can hear you, but I think the problem is it was me echoing. So I'm just going to be quiet and you go ahead and I'm going to place you on the full screen mode and you can go ahead and show. Okay, it's full screen right now. Okay, you got it. You got it. You got it. We just all you need is your video. You don't need the screen anymore. You can actually stop sharing. You can stop sharing, Teresa, because you only need the you only need your video because you're gonna show us the swatches, right? Okay. Yes, we can see you, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make yours full screen. And that's the 8.5 by 11, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. So let's go through the other two and let's see with the time difference if it's worth the printing on a different setting. Mm-hmm. Right. And right. That was but for the 8.5 by 11, that's what took 33 seconds. So when it was a 13 by 19, and I'll have to pull up mine for that. The 13 by 19 did take I think it was 2 minutes on the fine mode. It was 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and then I believe it was 6 minutes and something to do the highest quality, the best quality. Okay, so they're getting no sound right now. Let me check on that. Hold on a second. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. And the other one too, it had on the yellow adjustment. So if you wanted to really compare, you would have to turn off the yellow adjustments and because I do that on purpose to like basically dull down some of the effects that switching the yellows and reds have. So you may actually turn that yellow adjustment off and it may be just the same. Mm-hmm. Right. And that was the fine or the normal? Okay. Don't worry about it. Okay. What did you get for best? Uh-huh. And how does that look to you? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Right. 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 That so normal and fine. And if you could get away with normal, you probably do normal. And then if normal just looked a little off, you can go with fine and you'll be fine. Right? Okay, hold on, Teresa, because they're saying they still can't hear you. Hold on a second, okay? Hold on. Let me come out of this full screen for just a moment. And let me see if it is the microphone on this side. No, I don't know why it's not able to pick you up. But I can hear you, but they saying they can't hear you. That there's no sound. And it might be because of the Zoom. So I think I'm pretty much mirroring everything that you're saying right now. I'm going to bring up a little file myself so that they can see what is this? The Okay, gotcha. And we're going to do the Epson. Because I just wanted to show everyone the, let's go ahead and go to that one. There we go. All right, so we're going to go to the verses. Can you all hear me okay? Because I'm not sure what's going on with the sound here. Let me go ahead. I'm going to close out of Zoom and see if that's the issue. So let me know now if the audio is working. Because I know we have a little delay, but you should be able to hear me as you were hearing me before. It might have been Zoom that was interfering with the audio there. Okay, awesome. So I just wanted to reiterate what she was saying was the time that it was taking to do everything. And what I have here is a breakdown of the speed when you're using the true test. So what I tell you to do is use that 135 course in order to print a 13 by 19 version with the print settings that I have suggested. So with the print settings that are suggested with plain paper versus the premium presentation mat, I don't even suggest you do premium presentation mat. This is just to show you that it can take significantly longer to print with that higher paper setting. So for instance, what we just did today, we did normal, we did fine, and then we also did the best quality. So for normal, it looks like we ended up with about, what was it, 49 seconds for normal. It was about 1 minute and 27 seconds for fine, and then it was 6 minutes and 29 seconds for best quality. And I believe that's what Teresa was trying to get us to understand, is that normal did well. Fine did a little bit better, but you went from about 49 seconds to a minute and a half. So that definitely took maybe about 40 seconds a print could make a lot of sense when you're talking about printing many prints back to back. But the worst case scenario was putting it on best quality, and it took 6 minutes and 29 seconds. And that's not really acceptable most of the time for us when we're looking to do production and production efficiency. So if you can avoid using fine and you can use normal, you're going to be great with this printer. If you're doing fine, you're still going to be good. That's still good timing. That's about the same time as the Sawgrass 1000. So it was comparable to the timing for that one. But it is also a little bit faster than like your, about comparable to the Workforce 7710. Right? The 15,000, depending on what mode you have it on, prints even slower. And then the 16650 was literally 18 seconds to print that same file. So if you're looking at productivity and you're saying, hey, it took 49 seconds to print that file on the 8550, it only took 18 seconds to print that same exact file on the 16650 with the plain paper setting. So I just want you to have that understanding that there are true differences in these printers and how they're able to serve your need as a business, and maybe even looking into, hey, if this 8550 is $600 and the 16650 is $1,200, then you may want to go with that $1,200 printer because you're going to get 3 times the prints. You're going to get 3 times the print in the same time. Okay, so it's a matter of, number one, yes, budget, but number two, where you want to go with these printers. How hard do you want to be able to push them and work through and grow your business? Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do what I said I was going to do, which should be pretty easy right now because I know it's late. We have the 8500, which is the 8.5-inch version of the printer. And I need someone in the comments right now. It's okay, Teresa. We just ran into technical difficulty. We'll handle that. No worries, love. We still appreciate everything that you did. Awesome work, too. And thank you for doing this for us, because you taking the time to print those out and give us the rundown of the time and the quality is definitely going to help a lot of other people. All right, so let's go ahead and do this right now. In the comments, if you do not have a sublimation printer at all, give me a 1 in the comments. Okay, so the chat, give me a 1 in the chat if you do not have a sublimation printer at all. I want to see if there's anyone here that just does not have a sublimation printer. All right. Okay. All right, so what I'm looking for is I want to see someone that does not have a sublimation printer at all, okay? And this is what I need for you to do. I need you to go to the academy, to the N8 Academy, and Erica will put the link for that, okay? And I'm going to do a super surprise for you tonight. I want you to go ahead and sign up for class number 135, okay? So Erica's going to drop that link. Sign up for class number 135. And once you sign up for that class, let me know. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you this 85,000 printer or 8,500 printer, and I'm going to give you 1 month membership for the Innate Academy to learn how to design in Photoshop. Okay, so the idea is that you're going to have a starter printer. I'll send you some paper and some, of course, it's already loaded up with the True Colors ink, and you'll also get a full bottle of True Colors ink as well. Okay, so do this for me, AH. This is your opportunity. Go ahead and sign up, and then what you're going to have to do is in the Innate Creatives Facebook group, in order to make sure that I send it to you, I want to see some accountability. I got you, baby. I got you. So what's going to happen is, and we're going to help with you too. So we have some coaches in the academy that are going to help see you through this whole Photoshop experience, this whole sublimation experience. Okay. So I want a coach right now in the comments to volunteer to make sure that AH gets through this membership process. Okay. So who's going to be my coach that steps up? I think we have a couple of coaches here. So one of the academy coaches is going to make sure that not only you get signed up, but if you really need some help, you're going through the academy courses, you need some help, they're going, now normally they charge per hour for this, okay? So I want you to understand that this is a really, really big deal. E's got you. Ooh, and E definitely is a wonderful resource, knowing everything. So E is going to be your coach, okay? She's going to make sure that you not only get through this first month of the academy, but hold you accountable, make sure you do what you need to do, and she's going to make sure that you know how to use your sublimation printer, because that's what the coaches do too. They actually coach you through the Photoshop, and they can also coach you through what you need to do to get into sublimation, to get it right. If you need to do all overs, they know how to do the all overs, everything you can think of, tumblers, all of that stuff. They know how to do this sort of stuff, so they can actually walk you through these processes, okay? So you will need to sign up for 135, and I'll show you which one that looks like. This one right here, it's free, okay? And then you're going to go ahead and tell us what your email is. So E's going to grab your email right now, okay? So this is going to be like a real true case study. Somebody coming into the academy, not having a sublimation printer, maybe even not having any experience in Photoshop. Let me know if you have some experience in Photoshop. And we're going to make sure by the end of this 30 days that you're going to be showing off like everybody else does, okay? All right. Okay, so that was our little surprise. I know I kept y'all up so much later than I expected to, but you know I appreciate you. You know I love you dearly. And Erica's going to get you situated right now, okay? So just just put your just send Erica Kane in the Innate Creatives Facebook group. Send her your email, and she's gonna look out for you. This is a big deal. So this is the first time we've ever done this. I'm really excited to do it. I want to start giving back more. I want the coaches to start showing off. I know they're a little shy, but the coaches, they know how to do this stuff. They have been there. They've been in the academy. Some of them for over a year, just absorbing information, and they're even able to help me in the sessions now. Yes, Sharon, we do have class tomorrow, and class tomorrow, I'm going to showcase it early in the morning, but it is a special project. So I'm actually working on that tonight. All right, so I'll let y'all get all of that situated. And at the very least, we have your email through the pre-recorded 135. So Erica will be able to reach out to you and get all of that stuff situated for you, AH, okay? All right, love, because it's going to be really important. If you don't have Facebook and you're at least able to use it for business, like set one up for business purposes, I promise you the group is going to be one of your new best friends. Okay? All right, love. So I'm gonna let y'all go for tonight. Hopefully, we might have to clean this video up a little bit with how long it was. But y'all know I appreciate you. I love you dearly. And until next time, bye. Peace and love, y'all.